I work with a lot of men who are in a committed relationship with someone they care deeply about. And the problem these men are dealing with usually has a lot to do with her asking for more than he thinks he can handle giving. Things like more effort into the relationship, more love and affection, more energy from him to talk and be present when he gets home from work, more money for the life she wants to build with him. And a lot of the time, after these men share about what's being asked of them, they talk about how frustrated they are. Because to them, they feel like all the work that they're doing is for her. Like everything that they're doing is going toward providing and caring for her. And when she asks for more, they want to throw up their hands and say, "But look at all that I'm already giving. How is that not enough?" So today on the podcast, why she asks for more, even when you feel like you're giving her everything you've got. And what you can do, if this is you, to save yourself years of therapy. Stay with me. This is Reclaiming the Gentle Man. I'm Dave Leshansky. So the other day I was looking through some of my earliest journal entries from coaching and therapy that I did when I was first starting to get help. And it was really powerful to look back on that version of me. Because what was super apparent in what I was writing was how much I wanted to be seen and known and loved. And how much time I was spending in those early sessions being upset with people that they couldn't give me this. The question that seemed to be coming off the page was, why couldn't they love me the way that I needed? And the most pain came through when I was talking about my partner. Why couldn't she, of all people, love me the way that I needed? And as I read through years of these short little notes from big experiences, either in a men's group or after a coaching session or a therapy session or after a talk with my mentor, and I saw this story unfolding of how little I felt I was being given. In every relationship, how much pain I was in because I felt like I was giving so much, but not getting what I felt that I deserved in return. So here's an example. One of these entries read, "I need to feel safe to share what's happening for me internally. I need to know that I'll be heard. I want more than anything to know I'm safe to connect on the deepest levels at all times. When I feel like I'm there in my relationship, maybe then I'll be ready for marriage." So, to me, when I'm reading this now, I see so clearly what was happening for me back then. And the reason I'm sharing it here is because I've heard this sentiment reflected back to me so many times from other men. This feeling of, when we're there, maybe then I'll be ready for marriage. When I feel like I can say whatever I want and feel perfectly safe and like anything that I need from my relationship is there for me, then I'll be ready for marriage. Because so many of us feel like our relationships don't have space for us to open up. They don't have space for us to be fully honest about what we want and need. And that's a really painful feeling. But I'm not just sharing this because it's common and that it's painful. I'm sharing this because if you relate to this, feeling like you don't get the connection you need in your relationships, I want to save you a lot of time that I spent, wasted really, working this out. So, what is it that I see when I read passages like these that I'd written so many years ago? Well, wanting someone else especially my partner, to give me something and then being upset when I don't get it was a very effective way for me to stay mad at her and avoid paying attention to my own needs. So stay with me, right? When I was mad at my partner because I needed to share what was happening for me, I needed to know that I'd be heard and accepted exactly as I was also doing everything I could to avoid giving myself the time and space I needed to really understand and own my own feelings. It was so much easier to be mad at her for not giving it to me, mad at other people for not knowing me well enough, for not making space for the insecure parts of me, for the unfinished parts of me, than to actually give myself the time, space, grace, and understanding that would offer me an even deeper, richer experience of safety, love, and wholeness in every relationship that I'm in. Essentially, I was distracting myself from doing the work of giving myself the love and attention I needed because I was in a tough season of life, and it was so much easier to outsource that pain onto my relationships. And it's not to say that my relationships were perfect. It's not to say that my romantic partnership was perfect. There was work to be done, of course. I think that's always true when you're committed to growth. But while I was aware of needing time and space to sit with my own feelings, I wasn't giving it to myself. What I was doing was looking at my partner and saying, "You hold this for me." And this is a really important thing that I couldn't see back then. Because the parts of me that were hurting, that needed to be seen and heard and made to feel safe, those weren't adult needs that my partner was failing to meet. Those were younger parts of me. Those were old wounds that never got the attention they needed and were surfacing now because that's what relationships do. They bring things to the surface. And I didn't turn toward these parts of myself and sit with them and get to know them. I was just handing them to her, raw, unprocessed, misunderstood. I was saying, "Here, you fix this. You make me feel better because I don't know what to do with it." Like, an example is I'd be upset when she'd ask me to come into the present moment with her. Like if we're on a date, but I was tired, and she'd say, "Where are you? Like, I want you to be here with me." Instead of owning the fact that I was exhausted, that I needed to get myself together, acknowledging that I was tired, but that energy could affect us, instead I'd just be upset that she couldn't accept me like I was. That she couldn't just be fine with me being exhausted and having no energy to connect every single day after work. And as a result, when I was tired like that, I'd be extra defensive, right? Just because I was so sad that I felt like it wasn't okay for me to be like this. And what I eventually realized was that my wife was and remains incredibly understanding and patient with me. But she does need me to be accountable for how I'm acting instead of defending it or justifying it. But before I really intentionally worked with this back then, I took her responses as evidence that she didn't care about me well enough. And that gave me a great reason to not fully commit to her, to not take her needs and desires seriously, because in my mind, she wasn't doing the same for me. But here's the thing we need to really reckon with, and this might sting a little, but it's important. Because what I wasn't realizing was that I wasn't treating her like a partner as much as I was treating her like a mother who I needed to love me no matter what I do or say or how I act. I was expecting her to take responsibility for pain that I hadn't even begun to try to understand in myself. And the truth is, it didn't really register to me as pain back then. The only evidence that I had that something was off was how much of my life I was spending exhausted, needing to check out, walking through this fog and haze, feeling unavailable, but also unloved. And these were the parts of me that took over when I felt overwhelmed. And I really, at that time, just wanted someone to make that discomfort go away. And when we start acting from that desire just to get the discomfort to go away, especially with the women in our lives, when we say to them, accept me like this so it can stop hurting, we actually put them in an impossible position. Because no woman is going to feel safe and secure with a man who needs her to be his mother. No one feels drawn closer by that or attracted by that. It has the opposite effect. And this is what happens when we don't seek to know or understand the parts of us that are asking for our time and attention and love. We place pressure on the people closest to us to do that job for us. And the truth is, it's not their job. It's ours. It's an inside job. And this is the thing that took me a very long time, too long, years to learn, and that I want to save you from spending years on. The love and attention and compassion we're asking our partners to give us will only satisfy you when you learn to give it to yourself first. When we learn to sit with the younger parts of us, the hurt parts of us, and see them and feel them and be with them, something will shift. We stop needing her to make it okay. We stop needing her to need less. We stop keeping our foot out the door, waiting for her to prove that she's safe enough, when really, we're the ones who didn't feel safe with ourselves. And that's a sad place to be, but the magic of this, and really the reason I think most men in relationships need to do this work as soon as you can, is because when you learn to be with and care for and accept those younger parts of you, the parts of you that are hurt and hiding under the surface, young parts, angry parts, the child in you, when you do that for yourself, you will most likely suddenly start to feel her love more as well. When I learned to sit with the scared boy in me and the teenager who felt like he had to have it all together to keep it all down, when I learned to do that, to tend to those parts of me, suddenly my partner could see those parts of me too. And suddenly, she could love into the incomplete and unfinished parts as well. We have to give ourselves the permission first to be with those versions of us, those parts of us that are still growing. And when we do that honestly and consistently and lovingly, we often start to see how much love has been waiting in the wings all along from the people that we love. Because the switch is that we finally let them in to a part of us that only we can control access to. And when that happens, when you've done that work, that's when you choose her. That's when you actually find the ability, find the desire to fully choose her and honor her needs and her desires. And it's not because she finally gave you enough. And it's not because she finally proved that she was worthy of your vulnerability and could be safe at all times. No, it's because you stopped needing her to save you. And you chose her anyway, once and for all. Or not. That's yours to decide too, right? But therapy, coaching, men's groups, these are all great places to explore this kind of thing. To explore where you're not giving yourself the attention you're craving from her. Because if you look at your life and your relationship and you question what it is you feel like you deserve but you're not getting, you can ask yourself if there's a way to give it to yourself right now. Is there a way that I can give exactly what I'm longing for to myself? Can I start to understand where in me this need is coming from? How old that part of me is? When this became so important to me to receive this? Sitting with these questions, sitting with the inquiry of how can I give myself the things I'm resenting her for not giving me, and opening up that part of you, creating a new relationship with yourself so that she can learn to relate to it, leading the way there, can save you a lot of time and money, but most of all, a ton of resentment. The level of self-love and compassion and acceptance that you are capable of giving is far greater than you can imagine. And it starts with giving it to yourself first. All of us have more capacity than we know. And the magic happens when you realize that you are the one you've been waiting for, and that the love you're craving is right on the other side of giving it to yourself. If you want to learn more about how you can do these kinds of practices, I'm going to be hosting the Map to Pain-Free Conflict once again on April 20th. It's a free workshop for men in committed relationships who want to stop blowing up, who want to stop spiraling when the conflict escalates in their relationship, and learn what it takes to consistently be able to show up in a way that brings her back to earth, where your presence is such a grounding force that you set the tone for what a conversation, even the hard ones, sound like and feel like. If you're interested in that, you can sign up at painfreeconflict.lovable.app, or you can click the link in the show notes. I'd love to see you there. Thanks again for listening to this episode of Reclaiming the Gentle Man. Please share this podcast with a friend if it's moving something in you, and write in. Tell me what you're enjoying. Tell me what you want more of. It's always wonderful to hear from people who are listening. Wherever this finds you, wishing you a beautiful day or night. I'll be back in a week.